Good evening and thanks for joining us on Nationwide today. I'm Elizabeth Omori. The federal government will soon commence the prosecution of high-profile Nigerians suspected to be engaged in financing acts of terrorism, undermining national security and stability. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, announced this while speaking to correspondent Adamu Sambo at the State House.
As you actually know, sometimes back there were certain convictions of Nigerians allegedly involved in terrorism financing in the United Arab Emirates. That gave rise to a wider and far-reaching investigations in Nigeria. Arising from the investigation, there exists certainly reasonable grounds for suspicion that a lot of Nigerians, high-profile, institutional and otherwise, are involved in terrorist financing, and they are being profiled for prosecution. So in essence, it is indeed true that the government is indeed initiating processes of prosecuting those high-profile individuals that are found to be financing terrorism. It is indeed true.
How many of them have been arrested?
Well, as to the number, because the investigation is ongoing and it has to be conclusive before one can arrive at a certain number. But one thing I can tell you is a large number, and they are being profiled for prosecution. It is indeed a large number, and I am not in a position to give you with precision the number as at now, because the profiling and investigation is ongoing.
So what is the message the government is now sending to those with the habit of financing terrorism?
Well, the message is clear. Nobody is going to be spared. No stone will be left unturned. We shall certainly and aggressively pursue those people that are involved in terrorist financing as far as the Nigerian state is concerned.
The Aluminium Smelter Company of Nigeria is to be reactivated before 2023. The Minister of State, Mines and Steel Development, Uchichuku Oga, discussed this during a meeting with Governor Udom Emmanuel. Susan Asoko reports.
The minister during the visit revealed that President Muhammadu Buhari has directed that the Aluminium Smelter Company of Nigeria, ALSCON, located at Ikolabasi local government area, be revamped, stressing that the company will begin operation before the end of 2023. While assuring that the company will be revived soon, Oga explained that with the intervention of the federal government, the existing legal issue involving the company will be resolved for work to commence. The minister also sued for collaboration with the state government to create a hitch-free atmosphere for solid mineral exploration, as this will create opportunities for employment and wealth creation.
The federal government has agreed that 13% of the mineral exploited from a state goes to the revenue of the state. So we're looking at how to collaborate, to synergize with the state government so that we can have good relationship between the Ministry of Mines and Steel and the state.
Governor Udom Emmanuel commended President Muhammadu Buhari for the initiative to revamp ALSCON and described the move by the federal government as a step in the right direction, noting that the reactivation of ALSCON will stimulate the country's economy.
Much of interest is the ALSCON that you just mentioned.
We sincerely apologize for the hitch in that report. It's indeed a beautiful day and a happy day in Nigeria as the abducted students of Afaka College have been reunited with their families. It was with tears of joy the kidnapped students of the College of Forestry Mechanization Afaka have been reunited with their family members in Kaduna after more than 60 days as hostages of unknown gunmen who stormed their college in May. Advocating security consciousness and reiterating the commitment of the Nigeria Police Force towards apprehending criminals, the Commissioner of Police, Musa Mori thanked the federal government for facilitating the release of the students, adding that concerted efforts were still being made to locate and release the Greenfield University students safely. Some parents of the returned students also appreciated the joint efforts of security operatives in securing the safe release of their children and appealed to security agencies to beef up security in the institutions across the nation and also for students to be counseled in order to overcome any trauma they might have faced during their ordeal as hostages. The federal government have continued to evolve ways of ensuring the nation's economy recovers faster than expected. The latest move being championed by the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment is the collaboration with the Nigerian Entrepreneurs Forum, an organization of women in international trade. The partnership is aimed at ensuring the adoption of e-commerce in business transactions, value addition to explorable commodities, rising funds, and building capacity for MSMEs.
Portal has opened, people are registering, asking for different kinds of assistance, and including capacity building, technical support on how to package their things, how to export, and so on and so forth. And this is domiciled with the NEPC.
Especially using the African Continental Free Trade, where we can have more women participating in trade across the globe and helping them support so that they can understand how their products can be developed, how their product can stand side by side with any products coming from any of the international country or African country, that women in Nigeria will have to be the drivers of trade if we are well supported.
Still on finance and revenue generation, for agencies to comply with revenue generation regulation to boost the Federation account, there's need for amendment of the Fiscal Responsibility Act. Chairman Senate Committee on Finance, Solomon Adeola, resonated this at an interactive session with key financial stakeholders. Mobolaji Moribiri reports.
Interactive meeting between the committee and key actors in the financial sector was to discuss the preliminary findings during its investigative hearing with revenue-generating ministries, agencies and departments weeks ago.
Most disturbing issue we have found out is that even those that are 100% funded still go ahead and spend the revenue generated by them and also collect budget from the budget.
In providing solutions to matters arising, relevant stakeholders promised to work with the committee, particularly now that the nation is struggling to boost its economy.
Hoping that we can work very closely with you to do further amendments to the Fiscal Responsibility Act. There has been a number of circulars that have gone out, and we note that the agencies have interpreted the circulars in different ways. So it is actually better when amendments are made to the laws.
So we made attachments to our submissions. In all this, there are criteria. There is a template that has to be followed, which we have circulated to all agencies.
The objective of the meeting is for revenue-generating MDAs to comply with the Fiscal Responsibility Act. From the National Assembly, Mobolaji Moribiri, NTA News.
Let's shift attention to the oil and gas. House of Representatives Committee on Petroleum Resources has summoned the Group Managing Director, NNPC, and all petroleum exploration companies involved in the revocation and reward of some oil mining leases to appear before it. This follows the inability of the petroleum companies to honor the committee's invitation for investigative hearing. National Assembly correspondent Abdullah Aminu reports.
The investigative hearing is to ensure adherence to due process in the recent oil mining leases 123, 124, 126 and 137. Minister of State for Petroleum Timipre Silva explained to the committee the powers surrounding the decision as enshrined in the Constitution.
The President has not even withdrawn the revocation because NNPC is not in a position to ask for a withdrawal of a revocation granted duly.
The committee members frowned at the inability of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Company (NNPC) and other oil exploration companies to appear and submit their documents on the issue.
All letters we sent to them are routed through the GMT. And he told us, yes, that is the procedure. So we equally expect him to be the one signing all letters coming to this committee henceforth.
Thursday, 20th this month is fixed for the continuation of the investigation. From the National Assembly, Abdullahi Aminu, NTA News.
To aviation matters, the international wing of the Port Harcourt International Airport, Omagua, has been reopened for operations after about a year of lockdown. This followed the certification of the airport in accordance with COVID-19 protocols by the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority. Kingsley Amajiri reports.
Opening of the international wing of the airport at a time the second and third wave of coronavirus is spreading across countries necessitated the need for the latest certification. To ensure strict compliance with the COVID-19 protocols, the management of the airport engaged stakeholders at the airport towards a smooth enforcement of the new standard operating procedure.
We've just been given a go-ahead by NCA, the industry regulator, that we can commence international flight operation immediately. What is most topical to us because of the COVID-19 now, especially is the arriving passenger. There are more stringent protocol for arriving passengers.
To some of the airline operators, this good news is long awaited, but not without its challenges.
As the airline, we are ready because we have been, we are WHO certified. You understand? And the Port Health Organization here in at the airport, they've also screened us and they've checked our protocols.
It's a new era concerning, COVID-19, and so it's not business as usual. We need to inform them, that things have changed.
With the reopening of the airport's international wing, keen observers want those charged with the health and security protocols to be up and doing, not leaving anything to chance. In Port Harcourt, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
The Ministry of Defense and its Women Affairs counterpart are sustaining their support to the Nigerian Legion as it continues to champion the cause of military widows, orphans and ex-servicemen, with its latest initiative being the launch of stickers and tickets in furtherance of the cause. Defense correspondent Najatu Dijani reports.
Visibly excited, these women, all military widows, are about to benefit from an empowerment scheme sustained by the Nigerian Legion, which for decades has had their welfare and that of ex-servicemen at heart. For these women who have lost their breadwinners and taken on the role, the show of support in the form of much-needed food and household items is a welcome relief. Speaking on behalf of the widows, their president says the encouragement in word and deed is a healing balm.
Military widow is poised to do exactly the needful with your support.
To raise more awareness about their plight, the Nigerian Legion, with support from the Ministry of Defense and Ministry of Women Affairs, launched stickers to flag off the mass transit scheme for the beneficiaries.
We appeal to government agencies, military and paramilitary agencies, to buy these stickers for use on their official vehicles. The whole idea is to raise money to support our widows.
The initiative is aimed at helping the target group become more self-sufficient while paying homage to the sacrifice made by the fallen heroes. Najatu Tijani, NTA News.
Fire destroys Cairo Market in Lagos. For details of this and more, let's now join Adiola in our Lagos Network Center. Adiola, it's good to see you.
It's good to see you too, Elizabeth. Traders at Cairo Market, Oshodi, Lagos, are still counting their losses after a late-night inferno destroyed goods worth millions of naira in the market. Adeniyi Taiwo is there at the scene to give us an update. Hello, Adeniyi.
This is what is left of Cairo Market in downtown Oshodi, Lagos, after a mysterious fire broke out late Thursday evening. Cairo Market is popular for jewelries, lace materials, wedding accessories and other fashion items. Most of those are now in ruins, along with these shops, after the extensive damage by the fire.
It affected 66 shops, 4 offices and 25 containerized shops.
Most shop owners in this market are now in shock, bemoaning their fate.
I sell shoe, ladies bag, ladies purse, adult shoe, children's shoe, everything is burned.
The market has been cordoned off by security agencies and other first responders who are working to ensure that normalcy is returned. But what is agitating the minds of crowd who have gathered here to sympathize with victims is what may be the cause of the fire. For now, there is no official statement yet, but the people are saying that the fire might have been caused by improvised explosive device, accounting for the extensive damage suffered by the market.
There's some suspicion that it could be a sort of explosive or explosion. We will look into it.
Fortunately, a part of the market was not destroyed in the fire. Still, it may take a while for trading activities to resume in this place as investigation and other damage control efforts continue. From Cairo Market, is back to you, Adiola, in the studio.
Thank you, Adenayi. Quite unfortunate for traders who lost their goods in that inferno. Moving on now. The Nigerian Customs Service Apapa Area Command has increased its revenue generation into the federal government coffers for the month of April by 64%. Area Controller Malanta Yusuf said the feat was achieved on the resilience of officers and men of the command. Abolade Salami reports.
The Nigerian Customs Service Apapa Area Command acts as the country's watchdog at the seaport to ensure accurate payment of revenue due to the federal government. In compliance with this, the command in the month of April jacked up its earnings to 65.4 billion naira, showing an increase of 25.5 billion naira in the month under review, as against what was generated in the same month of 2020. The command, in its anti-smuggling drive, seized a 4x40-feet container laden with unregistered pharmaceutical containing 674 cartons of tramadol tablets and 805 cartons of codeine syrup.
And we are ready, but ready, to stop this kind of inflation because it is detrimental to the health of our citizens. And for any right-thinking Nigerian, I don't think such kind of importation should be entertained, or even to bring it the intention of bringing this in to destroy some of your citizens.
Controller Yusuf, while reaffirming the commitment of officers of the command to uphold professionalism, advised herring operators at the seaport to desist from all forms of irregularities. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
Now to continental trade relations. Promoting investment and trade opportunities between Nigeria and Tanzania is a practical demonstration aimed at meeting objectives of the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement targeted at deepening intra-trade relations for economic prosperity of the continent. Amaka Owo reports that these were re-echoed by speakers at the Tanzania-Nigeria Tourism, Investment and Trade held in Lagos.
Tanzania is located in East Africa and one of the 10 largest economies in the continent. The country prides itself in the area of tourism and home to the highest mountain Kilimanjaro in Africa, and it attracts more than 1 million tourists annually. The Tanzanian High Commissioner to Nigeria and other representatives say with the projected economic growth expected to increase from 4.7% in 2021 to 5.8% in 2022, it is important to deepen bilateral relations between both countries.
To promote economic cooperation between the two sister countries
in the areas of tourism, investment, trade, and development financing.
The private sector in Nigeria is expected to play a leading role in achieving the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement.
This event will expose participants to new and existing investment opportunities in agribusiness, tourism, distributive trade, mining, and manufacturing in both countries.
With the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, there are now new opportunities elsewhere, not just in Tanzania, but in the region.
Concretize the abstraction. And the beauty of it is that it is the private sector that will drive the process.
The Nigerian-Tanzanian bilateral relations dates back to the 1960s. In Lagos, Samaka O, NTA News.
You're still watching Nationwide and NTA. We'll take a break now. The news will continue thereafter. Please stay with us.
Thanks for staying with the NTA. The Striking Judiciary Staff Union of Nigeria, JUSN, and the Parliamentary Staff Association of Nigeria, PASSN, are to return to government next week, Tuesday, to respond to the new offers by the federal government over financial autonomy. The meeting deliberated on the new proposal, which was not made known to the media. The unions are expected to study the document, which is to determine what next, as the unions claimed they have no knowledge of what the document contained.
The discussions have been very fruitful, very, very fruitful. And when they speak to you, you also know that we've moved from the initial position. If the initial position was ground zero, we are now on ground 85. But before we proceed on the salad break, we will have conclusively dealt with this matter.
We need to go back to NEC to discuss this issue and revert back to the Honorable Minister's office. But what is for real, or the truth is, the strike is still on until otherwise.
PASSN have been on strike for about 5 weeks. The Nigerian Union of Pensioners, NUP, is gradually losing some of its members to a new association due to lingering trade disputes which the Ministry of Labour and Employment has tried to apprehend without success. This time around, it's the Federal Civil Service Pensioners opting out of the NUP after unsuccessful resolutions. Emmanuel Ayimiro has details.
One major issue in contention is that of an alleged non-remittance of check-off dues accruable to the Federal Civil Service Pensioners branch by the Nigerian Union of Pensioners. The Federal Civil Service Pensioners said effort at receiving their remittance directly has been enmeshed in disagreement despite intervention by the Pension Transitional Arrangement Directorate.
All other affiliated bodies, other UP, collect their check-off due from source. It's only Federal Civil Service Pensioners that NUP will collect, then give us whatever they want, without requesting to Ministry of Labour, our regulatory ministry.
The spokesperson of NUP, however, explained to NTA on the phone that the former ESCO has been dissolved and cannot preside over that union anymore.
They lost out of the power play at the union. That's why they want to pull out. They are not pulling out. The union do not belong to them.
Now that both parties are laying claim, it is hoped that the Ministry of Labour and Employment will arrest the situation, even though there was a claim that the ministry, through a letter, has directed all parties to maintain status quo until the determination of the dispute in question. But NUP has already dissolved the Federal Civil Service Pensioners ESCO and replaced them with a caretaker committee. Emmanuel Ayimiro, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the recommendation of the Minister of Transportation under the Minister Chibuike Rotimi for the setting up of an administrative panel of inquiry to investigate the management of the Nigerian Ports Authority. A statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, indicates that the President has also approved that the Managing Director Hadiza Bala Husman step aside while the investigation is carried out, while Mr. Mohammed Kolo will act in that position. The panel is to be headed by the Director, Maritime Services of the Ministry, and the Deputy Director, Legal of the same ministry will serve as Secretary. Other members of the panel will be appointed by the Minister. And for more reports on Nationwide, let's now join Asmao in our Sokoto Network Center. Hello, Asmao.
Hello, Elizabeth. Good evening and welcome to Sokoto. An organization, Baba Buhari for All, has distributed 22 trucks of grains to the needy in Sokoto State. Sheikh Muhammad Datti reports.
Baba Buhari for All is an organization of promoters and staunch supporters of President Muhammadu Buhari's political ideology. Their aim is to make Nigeria's democracy stronger by promoting uprightness at all times. This time, the Baba Buhari for All organization is making efforts to cushion the flights of orphans, widows, and other vulnerable families in Sokoto State by providing food items to them. The breakdown indicates that 10 trucks of rice, 4 trucks of millet, 4 trucks of maize, and 4 trucks of guinea corn were provided for onward distribution to the beneficiaries across 23 local government areas of the state.
They should make a good use of what they were provided. They should feed themselves, feed their families, and they should also abide by the directives or the teaching of Islam. Whoever did a good deed to you, you should compensate. If you cannot compensate him, pray for him.
This action, distribution of food materials, is not based on political. It's a humanitarian work, and that's why all of us are here, and all are represented in it.
Sokoto State Deputy Governor Munir Muhammad Daiya commended the organization Baba Buhari for All for its humanitarian gesture and assured government's support at all times. In Sokoto, Sheikh Muhammad Datti, NTA News.
Orphans, widows, and less privileged persons in Kebbi State have received assorted grains worth millions of naira as part of efforts by the Baba Buhari for All organization to cushion the economic hardship among the populace. Governor Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, while flagging off the distribution, described the gesture as remarkable, saying it is in line with the state government's policy of social welfare improvement of the citizenry. Usman Abdullahi Shehu reports.
The items distributed to selected 18 groups that will subsequently ensure the distribution reaches the target orphans, widows, less privileged, and the needy are rice and assorted grains of about 5 trailer trucks. Governor Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, represented by the Commissioner of Works and Transport, Alhaji Abubakar Chikaladan, while flagging off the distribution exercise, commended the Buhari for All organization for showing concern to the deserved individuals in the society. The governor equally said the gesture is in line with the present administration's policy of improving the social welfare of the people in the state, with emphasis on the less privileged and the needy indigents.
It's a good gesture, and they came at the right time when people needed such assistance during this fasting period.
The leader of Buhari for All organization in Kebbi State, former Deputy Governor Alhaji Muhammadu Bello Dantani, Magajin Rafin Kabi, said the flag-off is to commence with only 5 trucks load of grains, but 40 more will arrive in the state for the same purpose. The representative of the Secretary to Kebbi State Government, the Special Advisor to the Governor on Security Matters, retired Major Garba Rabiu Kamba, commended the organization for the kind gesture, describing it as additional relief to the people of the state in this month of Ramadan. The Chairman League of Ulama, Malam Ibrahim Bayawa, enumerated some notable achievements recorded by President Muhammadu Buhari's administration, deliberately directed towards improving the living condition of Nigerians and the economic prosperity of the nation. Usman Abdullahi Shehu, NTA News.
And that's it from here. The news will continue with Elizabeth in Abuja.
Thank you so much, Asmao. Nigerians are to brace up for another intense flood challenge this year, with a projected high flood risk in 28 states, including the Federal Capital Territory. The 2021 flood outlook is expected to surpass that of previous years. Kelvin Elnwai reports.
With the categories of high risk, moderate and low risk areas, virtually every part of Nigeria is projected to experience varying degree of flood this year. While the flood may surpass that of previous years, it will not reach the level of devastation witnessed in 2012. Minister of Water Resources, Suleiman Adamu, who presented the 2021 annual flood outlook prepared by the Nigerian Hydrological Services Agency to stakeholders in Abuja, tasked relevant agencies to focus on prevention, adaptation, and mitigation enlightenment through community engagements.
Flash and urban floods from heavy inundation are predicted to occur in some major cities, the severity of which will depend on the availability and adequacy of the drainage systems and adherence to urban planning regulations.
After today, we'll be doing sensitization program, and we would like also to downscale to the states, governors, telling each governor these are the locations in your own states that are likely to be inundated in the course of the year 2021.
With the attendant health risk and economic losses that come with floods, stakeholders are challenged to heed the early warnings to minimize flood impact on communities. In Abuja, Kelvin Ebonwaye, NTA News.
Still on flooding, experts on flood management have raised concerns of the absence of collaboration and information sharing among critical players in the flood management and mitigation process. Speaking on Good Morning Nigeria, experts say this represents a major gap in efforts to mitigate flood disaster in the country. Alika Okpanachi Arua reports.
As part of lessons learned from 2012 flood disasters in parts of the country, the Nigerian Hydrological Services Agency, NISA, provides annual flood alerts as part of early warning projections. The agency predicts that more communities and local government areas will be impacted by extreme weather conditions this year than 2020.
What we discover is that many of the communities are built on the floodplain for economic purposes.
Under normal circumstances, the way FCT is planned, we're not supposed to have flood as we are having. Urban flooding and flash flooding, yes. And we discovered that it was actions or human-induced activities that caused flooding in the FCT.
On efforts to manage and mitigate flood disasters in 2021, the guests made a strong case for more interagency collaboration and information sharing.
People are very reluctant to take instructions from the responsible agencies who are telling them that they should, leave the floodplains, that there's likelihood of having floods. My advice is that they should take it seriously because over the years, the quality of predictions have improved.
The event we had yesterday, I think the signal or the take home from this and what we have put in place we are going to do in the course of the year before the flooding actually sets in gives us some hope that this year's own will be quite different in terms of response.
The 2021 projection outlook shows varying severity across the country, with 302 local government areas likely to be affected. The Federal Capital Territory and Lagos are among states to experience heavy rainfall. In Abuja, Alika Okpanachi Arua, NTA News.
The federal government says it will focus more attention on greater development of irrigation facilities across the country and encourage more people into agricultural production. President Muhammadu Buhari made the pledge during the 6th regular meeting with the Presidential Economic Advisory Council led by Professor Doyin Salami. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
Describing agriculture as a good way to overcome Nigeria's economic challenges, President Muhammadu Buhari stressed the need for the citizens to go back to the land. Technology, he said, is doing away with petroleum, but Nigeria is lucky to have other resources, especially gas and vast arable land, yet to be adequately explored and exploited. The Presidential Economic Advisory Council had told the president that only 2% of land under cultivation in Nigeria is irrigated. On the security challenges, which the council says is having great repercussions on the economy, President Buhari charged leadership at every level to go back to the basics, noting that a bottom-up approach is necessary. He decried the situation in which some unscrupulous people tried to undermine every policy of government, irrespective of the good it is meant to achieve for the country. As he puts it during the closed-door engagement, some people are mercilessly against this country. We close the borders to control the smuggling of petroleum products and check the influx of illegal goods, arms and ammunition. Yet I got a call from the Controller General of Customs that 40 tankers laden with petrol had been impounded. As the president explained, he instantly directed that both the fuel and the trucks be sold and the money be deposited in the treasury. President Buhari is also worried that arms and ammunition are still smuggled into the country, despite his order to shoot anyone found with AK-47 rifles illegally, saying people must show consideration for their own country. The chairman, Presidential Economic Advisory Council, Professor Doyin Salami, submitted that the global economy has continued to improve as COVID infections drop and rollout of vaccination intensifies. He said the Nigerian economy, though out of recession, remains fragile with rising inflation, unemployment, and weak external account. The council therefore recommended, amongst others, decisive end to all forms of insecurity in the country, mobilization of resources for investment, hastened implementation of agricultural reform policies, passage of the petroleum industry bill, poverty reduction, employment generation, as well as incentives for private investment in irrigation to promote all-year-round farming. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
To humanitarian affairs now, First Lady of Nigeria, Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, has called on well-meaning Nigerians to extend their hands of assistance towards supporting the needy and other less privileged persons, especially in this holy month of Ramadan, for a better society. The First Lady made the call in a message during the presentation of food items to grassroots people across the traditional councils of the Federal Capital Territory. State House correspondent Aliu Kabir reports.
The traditional councils within the Federal Capital Territory have received the gesture of the First Lady of Nigeria, Aisha Muhammadu Buhari. Rice, sugar, vegetable oil and milk were some of the items benefited cutting across the Emirate councils of Kuje, Buhari, Karshi, Abaji, Gwagwalada, Garki and Karu, as well as the Sarkin Hausa of Abuja. The First Lady, in a message, has urged them to use the items judiciously and to ensure that it reach to the masses.
Her Excellency has asked us to give it to the traditional rulers because they are more closer to the people and they know who needs it most. That is why we're here today, to give them her own contribution for the less privileged in their domain. She's doing it to assist the less privileged as usual. That is her aim, for them to have succor.
We thank the First Lady that gave us these items. I think it will help us a lot because at all times our subjects, they are always on our neck. So when we get back to the community, they will also benefit from us.
We are very appreciative with what we have collected, and we are praying for her to stay long and do another thing again. I will take it to my boss, that's Sarkin Hausa of Abuja. He will share it to his people. Everybody will receive his message.
The First Lady reaffirmed not to relent in her effort of supporting women, youth and children, especially those at the grassroots. In Abuja, Aliu Kabir, NTA News.
Rehabilitation of police training school now a priority for Edo State government. Agatha in Benin has details of these and other reports. Hello, Agatha.
Hello, Elizabeth. Thank you for joining us in Benin. Edo State government is to commence upgrade of facilities in the police training school Ogida in Ego local government area of Edo State. Governor Gordon Obaseki disclosed this while on inspection of the facility in company of the State Commissioner of Police, Philip Ogbaudu. Elizabeth Omoko now reports.
With Nigeria facing increased insecurity, there has been a continuing clamor for synergy between the state government, security establishments, and Nigerians in tackling the menace. Here in Edo State, government is taking steps to rehabilitate the Ogida training facilities to enable the state to have a permanent training facility that will benefit policemen and other security agencies.
We are fortunate that we already have a facility in the states to train policemen. We have come in to do an evaluation, an assessment ourselves. The clinic, for instance, needs to be rehabilitated and re-equipped. The hostels need to be rebuilt and equipped for decent habitation. The classrooms need to be rebuilt, and the training grounds with the obstacles also need to be upgraded and repaired so that it will be made available not only for training policemen but also for training other members of the security architecture which we are redesigning.
The Edo Police Commissioner is thankful to the governor for the move, which will go a long way to ensure peace and security in the state.
It will be easier for us to carry out refresher courses and trainings here. And also for other security outfits that will come and benefit from it, it is an added advantage.
The facility will serve as a permanent training facility for about 5 or 6 squads at a time in Benin. Elizabeth Omoko, NTA News.
Now, NTA Benin pre-Ramadan lecture has unraveled precious knowledge which can refine culture and promote social peace and harmony. Budwako Bonga Chibong reports that the event dwelt on the theme peaceful coexistence. The Ramadan lecture came in the form of a roundtable discussion in compliance with COVID-19 protocols. The Zonal Director, NTA Benin Network Center, Paul Nigbano, set the ball rolling by giving reasons for the choice of the topic.
Edo State has a unique position, but it's also made up of different communities. They speak different dialects, they have different religious affiliations. But in spite of this, Edo State here, people have lived peacefully together over the years.
Discussants noted that Islam is submission to the will of Allah and peace, but also highlighted inhibitors to peaceful coexistence.
People going to marry these days, they don't know the responsibility of marriage. The men don't know they know the responsibility towards their wife and their children. The wife does not know the responsibility towards the children and the husband. And so when they come together, before you know it, they are divorced. Confusion and unfun.
You are head of banditry, you are head of kidnapping. So ignorance is the first problem.
For peace to reign in the society, it was agreed by the discussants that concerted effort is required while the Muslim Ummah should continue with the teachings of Allah during and after Ramadan.
Let's be patient with one another. Yes. Let's understand one another and let us tolerate one another.
Okay, thank you.
Then we will live peacefully, inshallah.
You are not supposed to grudge anybody. You are not supposed to have problems with anybody. You must learn to forgive because Allah himself is Yatafar.
The NTA pre-Ramadan lecture is a yearly event preparatory to the celebration which comes up in a few days. In Benin, Udwakobong Achibong, NTA News. This is Nationwide. Elizabeth will be on after this break. Please stay with us.
Glad to know you're still there. The Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, has promised to sustain its partnership with the Nigerian Association of Women Journalists, NAWOJ, in the promotion of peace and development in the country. Director General of the NTA, Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, stated this when he received a delegation from NAWOJ who came on a courtesy visit to the NTA. Musa Abubakar reports.
This is more of a homecoming for the leadership of NAWOJ, but it's strictly business at this courtesy visit hosted by the NTA management. The aim of the visit by the executive members of NAWOJ is to strengthen partnership on the issues of gender-based violence, unity and development of the country.
Every year we'll have a cause which we will champion. So the cause we are championing this year is the battle against rape and rapists. So we have officially launched the campaign. We have officially launched and declared NTA as the vanguard of the battle against rape and rapists.
We cannot allow the different sentiments or interests that is being played out there to affect the unity of this country. So the media is key in uniting this nation, and to this extent, the NTA has been at the forefront.
This gesture signals the beginning of many things to come from the partnership. In Abuja, I am Musa Abubakar, NTA News.
And talking sports now, in anticipation of the forthcoming first edition of the 8th Sahel Countries Military Games to hold in Nigeria in October 2021, the Minister of Defense, Major General Bashir Saleh Magashi, retired, has endorsed sports as a catalyst for resilience and stamina necessary for carrying out military operations. This was during a visit by a delegation from the Organization of Military Sports in Africa, OSMA, led by its president, Brigadier General Meikano Abdullahi, who is the first Nigerian and Anglophone military officer to be so appointed. Validating the essence of the forthcoming military games, Brigadier General Abdullahi said the military games, tagged First CDS 8 Sahel countries military games, would douse attention of insecurity in the participating countries. He also said partnering with the Ministry of Defense would ensure successful hosting of the military games in Nigeria, scheduled for October 2021. Still talking sports, NTA gets broadcast rights for Continental Mini Football Tournament. Details with Bade Adeleye.
The local organizing committee of the Second African Mini Football Confederation's Nations Cup has named the Nigerian Television Authority as the official broadcaster for the tournament. Nigeria won the bid to host the competition in 2020, but it was postponed due to the coronavirus pandemic and will now hold from 8th to 17th July 2021 at the largest sports resorts, Ibadan, Oyo State. Meanwhile, the second round of the 2020-2021 season of the Nigeria Professional Football League begins this Saturday with Jigawa Golden Stars and Lobi Stars locking horns at the Ahmadu Bello Stadium, Kaduna. On Sunday, Rivers United host Dakada. Warrior Wolves are at home to Kano Pillars with Enyimba and Enugu Rangers going head-to-head. Kwara United currently top the league standings with 36 points ahead of Kano Pillars, who also have the same points, while Akwa United are third with 34 points. Meanwhile, already relegated Sheffield United will be looking to build some momentum ahead of their campaign next season in the Championship when they take on Crystal Palace in the Premier League at Bramall Lane, with the match live on NTA Network from 2:30 Saturday afternoon. In other fixtures, Manchester City welcome Chelsea to the Etihad in what will be a dress rehearsal for the All-English Champions League final, with a win confirming City's status as Premier League champions. Liverpool and Southampton will clash in the last game for Saturday, while Aston Villa entertain Europa League finalist Manchester United on Sunday, just as Arsenal and West Brom will trade tackles. To tennis, all is now set for the women's final of the Madrid Open on Saturday, with world number 1 Ashley Barty and Orina Sabalenka facing off in what will be a rematch of the Stuttgart Open final. Top seed Barty claimed her spot in the final after defeating wildcard Paulo Badosa 6-4, 6-3, while her Belarusian opponent defeated 6-time Grand Slam quarter-finalist Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova 6-2, 6-3 to reach the final. With sports update, Bade Adeleye, NTA News.
APC national leader Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu condoles with the General Overseer of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, Pastor Enoch Adeboye, his wife, Pastor Folu Adeboye, the Adeboye family, and the RCCG community on the passing of their beloved son, husband, brother, father, uncle, and Pastor Olu Damilari Adeboye. In a statement, the APC national leader says Pastor Dari will be remembered with the deepest affection and love, not only by his family, but also by the multitude of people whose lives he touched with his ministry. He prayed God to grant Pastor Dari's parents, wife, children, and RCCG family the strength to bear the loss. And that's Nationwide today. We want to thank you so much for coming. I'm Elizabeth Omori. And don't forget to connect with us at the NTA Stand Against Rape and Rapists.
Updates on www.nta.ng or follow us on our Twitter handle at NTA News Now. You can also like us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/NTA Network News, and also stay connected and subscribe to our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/NTA News Online. Also remember to watch our news live streaming at www.nta.ng/live.